Good evening, I'm Shane Jones, leading the news at 7. A senior police officer has been remanded to Dodds Prison on several charges. He is 56-year-old acting Senior Superintendent of Police John Mark Annell. Annell, who has been an officer for the last 37 years, has been formally charged with 1 count of unlawful possession of ammunition and 5 counts of misconduct and misuse of public trust. Annell appeared before Magistrate Graveney Bannister in the District A Traffic Court and was remanded to prison to reappear in court on October 23rd. Veterinarian Dr. Kim Branford is dead. Confirmation of this from police, who say they are investigating the unnatural death of the 48-year-old Atlantic Shores Christchurch resident. Lawmen say her lifeless body was found at her home just 10 on Sunday night. They say family members discovered her body after returning home from an outing around 9:45. Investigations are continuing, but police say foul play is not suspected. In light of the natural disasters affecting the region, students of the Alexandra School are being encouraged not to take the opportunities afforded them for granted. It comes as the school celebrates another year of existence. More from Kareem Smith.
Though the winds of change have been blowing at the Alexandra School over the past few years, the institution is still firmly standing. In fact, this week they're celebrating 123 years of existence by honoring a number of outstanding past and present scholars. During the Founders' Day service, Principal Orson Allen lauded the level of education and assistance offered by the school's teachers and old scholars. He's encouraging current students to do the same.
And I would want that in the future, when you have moved on, when you have achieved, when you've made this yourself and this school proud, that you also at some point will be able to return and to offer words of instruction, words of guidance, words which speaks to the fact that I've been here, I have achieved, I am now giving back.
The school's musical and artistic talent was on full display, with renditions from some of the most talented students, both past and present. Meanwhile, in his remarks, Canon Peter Haynes described the school as one where lives are touched and dreams are realized. However, he encouraged students not to take this for granted. Referencing the catastrophic events occasioned by the 2017 hurricane season, he reminded students that the mere opportunity to attend school in a building that's still standing should be considered a blessing.
When you think about going to bed one night or settling in one night, and then everything is comfortable, everything is there for you and for your families, men and women, husbands and wives who went to bed, families who were going to bed but they were challenged by the hurricane. And by the time they got up the next morning, or as they went through the experience of the hurricanes, everything was lost. Not only the roof over their heads, but the businesses that they had developed. Their jobs were lost. Coming at the end of this month, they don't know where the next paycheck will come from, where the salary will come from. And we can realize how fortunate we are, how blessed we are.
A check of $1,000 was also donated to the Alexandra School by the Old Scholars Association for the school's general upkeep. Meanwhile, Old Scholar Carlo Goodman encouraged students to use their youth to take hold of every opportunity. Kareem Smith, CBC News.
Thanks, Kareem. Forced each year to turn away many students due to limited capacity, the Samuel Jackman Prescott Polytechnic has been able to accommodate more applicants this year through its continuing education program. Principal Hector Bell made the disclosure after a service this morning to celebrate the institution's 48th anniversary. He said students who were initially rejected for the full-time courses were encouraged to pursue continuing education studies at the SJPP. Mr. Bell also identified some of the more popular areas of study. We apologize, we don't have that extract. None of the students who entered first form at the Lester Vaughan School last year gained more than 50% in mathematics. In addition, a number of students throughout the school exhibit problems with reading. And recognizing this, the school has put a program in place to help students beef up their numeracy and literacy skills. Acting Principal Tanya Harding says it's being done through a school improvement project, starting with 2 teachers being assigned to all first form English and mathematics classes. The program also includes the construction of 2 prefabricated classrooms with specially trained teachers to work with the students.
It will, for one thing, be equipped with special activities, because in most of the classrooms it's desks and chairs. In this classroom there will be some flexibility. So if teachers wanted students to work in groups, we could have a group formation in the classroom. If we wanted to put the chairs and desks in a circle, then they could do that as well. We will also store teaching aids in there as well. There will be lots of posters permanently placed there, as well as a board where the teacher could change the posters according to what they are teaching. So we are also going to have equipment. Now the computers won't be stored there, but we will have them nearby. They could be taken there to be used.
And that's where the Insurance Corporation of Barbados Limited comes in. Marketing executive at ICBL, Charlene Brown, says they responded to a request from the school for equipment, understanding that children are Barbados' greatest asset.
We provided a bit of furniture, office equipment as well, and they have advised us that it will be integral in the development of the rooms. It's an ongoing project, as we know, and we have contributed quite a number of things. So I wouldn't be able to put an exact total to it, but we know that it exceeds quite a significant figure.
Secondary schools across Barbados have also been busy collecting necessities to assist Dominica. Lisa Lord reports.
Over the last week, secondary schools across the island have been collecting items to donate to hurricane victims in Dominica. Items they have brought here to the Barbados Cadet Corps headquarters. The Barbados Association of Principals of Public Secondary Schools is spearheading the drive. Dr. Yvette Mears is the chairperson of the social committee and principal of the St. Michael's School.
We were in Dominica in 2015 as part of the Caribbean Association of Principals of Secondary School Conference. And so we know the principals there, we know the schools, we have a personal connection to Dominica. And we felt it was an opportunity for us to share and to have our students get involved in this effort as a means of giving, not just because we want something in return, but because we care about those persons there. And they're part of our humanity, they're part of our Caribbean brothers and sisters, and we felt a desire to contribute.
Cadet Executive Officer Major Alva Holder says they are assisting the principals by using headquarters as a sorting point and coordinating with the Barbados Defence Force for shipment.
What we're doing here, we're receiving from the schools and also helping with some of the collection, and then we're doing the sorting, and then we'll do the transportation down to the Barbados Defence Force Coast Guard base, where then they will do the shipping.
And parents believe the initiative can help with character building.
It's a great idea because in this time we don't have our neighbors' backs, so this is an effort now to, especially with the cadets and everything, teaching them to give back, give, share, be a brother's keeper.
I'm actually of the opinion that this is something that should be undertaken by all schools, in all organizations especially. It helps foster good character and helps teach them about caring as well.
Cadet Sergeant Jaquila Hewitt has been personally touched by the tragedy.
I was devastated by what I saw. I also have friends that I know from National Youth Parliament are in Dominica, and there's no way to contact them or whatever the case may be. But it's a great initiative to be taken, and honestly, all of these boxes maybe before y'all came here, packed to the brim with stuff. It's good to see that all the schools came and donated and realized there's a cause to be met.
The collection drive continues at secondary schools next week.
Okay, we'll take a short break here and come back with more news.
Help support the restoration efforts for the hundreds of thousands affected by catastrophic hurricanes. Donate to the Red Cross Hurricane Relief account at any branch of the following: CIBC First Caribbean, account number 10011633436. First Citizens, 500-900-00588. RBC Royal Bank, 210-05073. And Republic Bank, 01804-153-1001. Monies raised will be sent to the International Red Cross for its restoration work for affected persons. Appeal closes 30th November 2017. Persons wishing to post checks should make these out to Red Cross Hurricane Relief Appeal account and post to Barbados Red Cross Society, P.O. Box 300 Bridgetown, or hand deliver to the Red Cross Warrens headquarters. The Barbados Red Cross and commercial banks, on behalf of the victims of catastrophic hurricanes, thank all persons and businesses for their contributions.
Do you want audience numbers? Over 140,000 people are watching Morning Barbados and the evening news. 6 out of 10 top radio personalities are found right here at the CBC. CBC delivers the audience you need.
Watch Get Healthy Barbados for the latest news from the Ministry of Health and tips on how to eat healthy and keep fit. Don't miss it every Tuesday night at 8:30 and repeat it every Friday at 10:30 a.m.
Changes are coming to the National Youth Policy, and Minister of Youth Stephen Lashley believes young people must have a say in the process. According to Minister Lashley, the opportunity to do just that will occur during a national youth consultation this week.
We are currently reviewing our National Youth Policy, and we believe that the review of that National Youth Policy must be influenced by the concerns and the input and the ideas of our young people. When this National Youth Policy was first created, it was created and drafted by the young people of Barbados with technical assistance provided by the ministry. And therefore the review of it has got to be largely influenced by the young people of Barbados.
Minister Lashley made the comments during a church service to launch National Youth Week yesterday. He notes that government continues to invest heavily in the development of young people, even though more publicity might be needed to make the public aware of some programs. Minister Lashley also expressed a desire for young people to show a greater interest in the country's social and economic climate.
What we want young people during this week to do is to also look at solutions, look at their role in national development. And as we are preparing for general elections in Barbados, I also want them to look at how they can participate in a more fulfilled manner in democracy.
And as the country prepares to observe National Volunteer Day tomorrow, young people are being encouraged to give back. This advice from CARICOM Youth Ambassador Zoena Perry. We don't have that extract. Barbadians who have donated to help regional neighbors affected by hurricanes Irma and Maria have been commended for their efforts. The accolades are coming from Attorney General Adriel Brathwaite, who was speaking at a Thanksgiving service for the Barbados Fire Service.
I know that we have persons deployed across the region assisted, but to the ordinary man and woman in the streets in Barbados who are giving and who are sending supplies across the region to their brethren, I want to publicly say thank you. See, we as a people, and I'm sure Pastor Ben and Pastor Sam will agree, we as a people believe that when you give, you will receive. I firmly believe that.
Also speaking during that service was Chief Fire Officer Errol Maynard. He says the Barbados Fire Service is not only preparing to welcome a new class of recruits, but there are also plans to begin training auxiliary fire officers.
37 personnel. Unless we have retirements, we will not need to recruit on a regular basis, but we are constantly training our officers, and we are recently embarked on the Cabinet of Barbados has approved auxiliary program. And so, therefore, even while we're not enrolling persons, we will be training auxiliaries going forward.
Mr. Maynard also disclosed that so far, 10 local officers have been deployed to assist their regional counterparts in hurricane-affected territories.
They're working alongside some members of the Dominican Fire and Rescue Service to conduct fire search and rescue operations and some relief operations. We have 3 officers in Tortola who are assisting the Tortolan Fire Department in their regular duties. Their fire services are being destroyed. They have lost the buildings and the vehicles, and they are helping with medical care and some firefighting duties.
CIBC First Caribbean Bank continues to give its full support in the fight against breast cancer. The bank held a flea market yesterday at its headquarters. It was part of its Walk for the Cure activities. CIBC's Walk Manager, Crystal Maynard, says the bank's staff has embraced the activities. With the hugely popular walk happening on October 1st, Ms. Maynard noted there are still a number of other events left to help raise funds for the Barbados Cancer Society breast screening program.
In addition to our flea market, I would say various things held on Friday afternoons or Friday mornings, such as breakfast. You know, some persons would just come in and sell cake. We're going to have a Paint for the Cure October 14th. The public will be, well, it's already sold out, but we'll be painting a wonderful painting which will symbolize hope for breast cancer. And we're also having a cricket match the last Saturday in October, yes, Saturday night, and that will culminate all the activities.
Members of the spiritual Baptist churches in Barbados are becoming more unified. That's the word from Chairman of the Council of Spiritual Baptist Churches of Barbados, John Hunt. He was speaking on the sidelines of the Council's latest inauguration ceremony, which saw elected officers being installed by Council members. Mr. Hunt says the occasion was not only a joyous one, but also historic.
For the decades and for the years that we've been trying to get Council together, this is the first time we had unification amongst the spiritual Baptists. So we believe that things in the spiritual Baptist world will change from this moment on, and we're extremely happy and proud. I couldn't be more happier. I'm happy for my brothers and sisters who have joined with us, and we look forward to doing great things in the name of Jesus Christ.
After the break, we'll take a look at stories making headlines across the region.
It's 7 a.m. on the compound of Sidel Bank, and Ryan Yard is on the job maintaining the surroundings. Over at TT Electronics, a company that manufactures capacitors for export, Marjorie Hurley is on the production line.
If you look at our physical landscape, you look at development of office space, office buildings, a lot of that has come about because of the impact of the international business sector.
The Salvation Army Barbados Division takes this time to appeal to all Barbadians to support this effort to help our Caribbean brothers and sisters in Dominica, who are desperately in need of the following items: canned foods and other non-perishable foods, bottled water, Pampers, children and adults, children educational material, bed cots. These items can be donated to the Salvation Army at their other institutions across Barbados, or call 426-2467 or 228-1361, and arrangements will be made to collect these donations. Please note no clothing necessary. We also welcome any monetary donations to this effort through our local account at Scotiabank, account number 000-901-9858. The Salvation Army Appeal.
No power, no running water, and now fears that a dam in western Puerto Rico could fail, putting the lives of thousands in danger. The dam was built around 1928 and holds back a man-made lake covering about 2 square miles. About 70,000 people have evacuated.
The governor of Puerto Rico is now asking Congress to take action. He wants an aid package that is passed not just for the short term, but more of the long term. He says this must be flexible because Puerto Rico needs help that will take a while. Now, the government has said for days now that part of the problem is they haven't been able to reach all of the island. As of last night, the governor reports they have reached all municipalities, but when he says reach, he means they have been able to make contact with government officials in the municipalities. They haven't actually physically been able to go. So we went to some of the most remote areas, and what we heard over and over again. People who say they don't have power, they don't have communication, relief supplies are not making it in. Neighbors themselves are taking to the streets to clear out the roads so that they can get that help. But at this hour, they don't have that. And for many of them, they don't have communication or awareness of what's happening beyond their very own homes. So now the governor says they're working to send out missions today to make sure they can improve on that. But they're also monitoring a dam on the northwestern coast where there's been a crack. And they say that if that dam breaks completely, that could possibly be worse than the hurricane itself for that part of the island. In the meantime, the residents, who again, many don't have communication beyond their own homes, are just sitting, waiting, and hoping that help comes soon.
The frequency and severity of storms hitting the Caribbean has to be a wake-up call to people who do not believe in climate change. This from Commonwealth Secretary General Baroness Patricia Scotland, who is a Dominican by birth. Speaking to CBC News via telephone from London, Baroness Scotland says the follow-up to last year's historic climate talks in Paris will be critical to addressing the effects of the phenomenon on countries like Dominica, which do very little to contribute to climate change but are suffering badly from the fallout. Baroness Scotland says ahead of COP23 scheduled for Fiji later this year, the Commonwealth has started to develop a blue charter to look at climate change's impact on the seas.
The reason these hurricanes were so strong was because the ocean's temperature has risen. So it's feeding the hurricane like never before. We've had 3 hurricanes in 72 years before this. Now we've had 3 hurricanes in as many weeks. So this is an escalation on a level we've never seen before. And I think this idea that we have to link everything, the sustainable development goals, all are important. And we need to push hard on those.
Baroness Scotland has also vowed to drive what she has described as a regenerative model of development, adding that it's the answer to combating the devastating impact of climate change.
We've got to look at the disruptive new technologies. What can each of us do to reduce the aberrant impact of climate change? What can we do to create a more circular economy where we take out waste? What can we do to have a more symbiotic relationship between our urban areas and our rural areas? What can we do to make sure that we take plastics out of our oceans, we reduce the level? And how can we use the new technology like the carbon-eating concrete to build buildings that each one of them become carbon sequestrators?
The government of Ghana is working on achieving sustainability in the principles of all aspects of the formal and non-formal education system. Kristen McLaughlin reports.
There is need for Guyana to realize sustainability in socio-economic development, and therefore it is necessary that non-formal education be promoted and developed throughout the country. That's what Senior Technical Officer of the Education Ministry, Bridget Hines, says.
But we are also working simultaneously on Guyana as a whole. So everybody is into education, even if you're not matriculating.
Ms. Hines, during an interview with Nightly News this week, She stated that it is of high importance that citizens be empowered with the knowledge, skills, values, and attitudes to realize sustainable development, as she made reference to participants in this year's Innovative Program of Guyana initiative who benefited from millions of dollars to kickstart community projects.
The theme was promoting wellness in communities through quality education, not formal education only. Okay, so we are having subject experts review the projects, and so that quality education is accessible to every participant.
Ms. Hines added that such a vision to ensure that non-formal education is promoted in Guyana bodes well for the further development of the country.
I think the Ministry of Business, along with His Excellency and the Minister of Education, they've come together and said, you know, we will collaborate, we will have this subvention for this methodology of both educating and engaging Guyanese.
A quick look into the world of sports is just ahead, but before we get there, here's a tip from Cooperators General Insurance.
This tip of the day is brought to you by Cooperators General Insurance Company Limited. Insurance the way you want it to be.
Always lock your car, even if it is in front of your home. This auto theft prevention tip is brought to you in association with the Royal Barbados Police Force.